Hello everybody, my name is Orbital Panda, and today we're going to be playing Hearts of Iron 4. And more importantly, we're going to help all of you new players out with the game. So Hearts of Iron 4 is a big game with lots of moving parts and lots of mechanics. It's kind of hard to understand, it's kind of overwhelming. So we're going to be playing a full game. I've already World Conquested on this account before, but why not? We'll do it again. So, I really like Germany out of all the countries. Germany forces you to interact with the majority of the mechanics in the game. And that's why I think it's great for learning the game. There are other countries that I would recommend for beginners too, like Romania, the USSR, or the US. However, Germany will forever remain my favorite, and we can go over a lot of things with it. So, let's go. So for this guide, I'm going to be assuming that you know absolutely nothing about Hoi 4. This is the first Hoi 4 video you've watched. Now, if you're not a complete beginner and you know some stuff about the game already, that's fine. Reviewing basics of a game will always help you out, so I encourage you to watch this video regardless. However, if that's not your cup of tea, all good. We'll be going over some more in-depth strategies as well as basic tips, so stay tuned. Now, you'll notice that I have these strange white lines running through my country and around the map. This is a mod called the Microcontrol Helper. It's completely unnecessary to play the game, but I for one really enjoy it. Now, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be turning on, high quality and full rendering. I normally keep these off because they really decrease your performance, so you should keep that in mind while you play. I would really recommend turning these off unless your computer can actually handle it. So let's close this, and now we can see that the game looks a lot better and is a lot laggier too. Is what it is. Alright. So, what's this? It's a research slot. Research slots allow you to research technology. What should you be researching? Well, generally speaking, you want to be taking this tech. Electronic and mechanical engineering gives you research speed, which is really important because it helps the rest research faster. I also like going for industry and taking basic machine tools and construction 1. Basic machine tools helps you with production efficiency cap, which helps you with production, we'll go over that later. And it also helps, and construction helps with construction, it lets you build stuff faster. This is important because the most important part of Hoi 4 is building an economy. If you don't have an economy to work with, you can't play the game effectively. Unless you're a micro god against the AI. But it's the AI, so you have the infinite time to think. It's not really special. Even in multiplayer, where actually microing is a lot more important, simply having a larger economy is normally enough to win multiplayer games. So that's something you should keep in the back of your head always. Now, there are very specific builds you can do. You can go like Concentrated Germany, Rush Medium 3s. That might not mean anything to you right now, but it does mean something for the grand scale of the game. I'm not going to overcomplicate things. I'm not going to go for a super meta build. I'm just going to play the game with how I think is a good way to learn the game. So, I'm not going to do anything too crazy. You're not going to see me juggle text. You're not going to see me juggle research. You're not going to see me bank points on focuses. None of that. We're going to keep it simple, we're going to keep it straightforward, and we're going to keep it fun. So what else? I have one more research slot. What do I do with the research slot? Well, normally I would say juggle, but given that we're not juggling, we're gonna go down the first one of superior firepower. Why superior firepower? When in doubt, choose superior firepower. It's just the best path in the game. If you're going heavy tanks, mobile warfare is also viable, but I always will suggest superior firepower doctrine. It's very useful. Alright, we have civs. What are civs? Civilian factories allow you to construct stuff on the side here. You'll also notice that we have 3 military factories. Military factories are used to construct military equipment. So your guns, your planes, your tanks, that's all military factories. However, your fortresses, your ports, your civilian factories, and other mill factories, that's all made by civilian factories. So, what do we do with our civilian factories? There's many builds you can do as Germany. You can go for infantry start. You can go by conversion. not infantry, infrastructure start. You can start by converting, you can start by building more civs. Now obviously there's optimal strategies that you can go for to build a stronger economy, but like I said, we're going to keep it straightforward. So in this run, we are just going to focus on building more civs from day one. You'll notice that there's this 80% thing over here. That's an infrastructure boost. The more infrastructure you have in a state, the better of infrastructure boost. So when you build stuff like civs, which have a very high construction cost, you can see it's 10,800 for a civilian factory, compared to 7,200. You want to build civilian factories where you have a big boost, so it's easier that way. As I said, infrastructure helps with the building speed. However, building infrastructure also increases the resources. You see here, I gained 1 extra oil in this province because I'm going to build infrastructure, and when it's done, I'll get 1 extra. Same goes here. You see, I'll get 5 extra steel, 1 extra tungsten, and 1 extra chromium. We'll go over trade resources as well later. What about airfields? Airfields, or air bases, well, they let you put planes in them. So you see that there's a level 3 airbase, and the maximum capacity is 600 airplanes. So every airbase, level of airbase, lets you have 200 planes. You can only have 1 airbase per state. Besides that, we also have AA. AA it's anti-air. It decreases the effectiveness of air in the region. Like the enemies, they'll shoot down stuff. Radar. It detects things with radar. You're not going to really do that with Germany. We might cover it later, but frankly, radar's not used too often. Mills we covered, civs we covered. Naval dockyards, you use these, you build these, and you build boats with them. Enough said. Synthetic refineries, they build them, and then they give you oil and rubber. You can increase the amount of oil/rubber they produce with techs. As Germany, it's very important to build these, but we're not going to worry too much about it. Same thing with fuel silos. Fuel silos let you store oil. So right here, you have a fuel thing. You can see where you're getting fuel from, and you can also see what's consuming the fuel. Like I said before, this is more useful later on when you're actually prepping up for the war and you're pre-war and you're banking fuel. But for now, we're not going to worry about it too much. Rocket sites and nuclear reactors, you're never going to use these in game. You can forget about them. You can look into them on your own. Naval bases. Naval bases are where you can put the docks, basically. So these build ships, but you can't actually put ships inside naval dockyards. You have to put them inside naval bases. Naval bases also allow you to navally invade countries. For example, if I want to invade the UK, I'll have to go from Dunkirk, or maybe Dieppe, or Le Havre, or Cherbourg. As long as it says naval base here, I can go from there. I didn't mean to click that. We'll go back to that later. Forts, they increase the defensive strength of units inside that tile. For example, if I do this, each one will get attackers attacking into these will get an additional minus 15% attack penalty depending on the level of forts. Forts cost more the higher level the fort in the tile is. So, for example, if I construct this here, it's going to cost me 500. If I construct another, it's going to cost 1,000 for the next level fort. Coastal forts does the same thing, but for naval invasions. And converting, it lets you convert one type of factory to the other. We're not going to bother with that. It's too high tech. The technology is too complicated. So I realize there's a lot of information coming at you right now. I'm talking pretty quickly, so that's understandable. Take your time, maybe rewatch the video a few times, maybe slow it down, like 0.25 times speed, maybe 0.5 times speed. You can figure it out. You're a big boy. Alright, so let's go through the order of what's here. Free military factories. Alright, I get to use these to build shit. I'm playing as Germany. On Germany, quite frankly, you don't need the guns. You don't need to be building these guns. They're kind of pointless. This is a Germany specific thing, but I get rid of my light tanks. and I got rid of my fighter production, my cast production, and my tac bomber production. You can go for mass fighters from 36 on. I personally don't like that strat. We're also gonna get rid of all these all of this stuff. I don't care for fleet. There's naval guys out there. I'll be the first to admit I know jack shit about the naval systems in this game. The only thing I know is that light attack is a broken modifier. That's all I know. So, what do we want to build? Well, I want to build AA for my divisions, I want to build RD for my divisions, and I want to build support equipment for my divisions. Alright, what else? I'm going to keep 2 on mod. Why 2 on mod? Well, 2 on mod from 36 is generally enough to supply all the tanks you'll ever build in-game. You might swap to mechanized later on in the game, which is a different type of fast-moving vehicle, which, you know, you can. That's an option, for sure. They're very effective, too. I know I said that we wouldn't be converting today, but I lied. We're converting. So, it'll be a good chance to show you guys how it works, too. You click this button, and you see that? We're converting all the mills into civilian factories. Now, we could do this now, but we're still on partial MOB. When we could go to war economy pretty soon. Partial MOB, you only get these bonuses, but on war economy, you get a lot better bonuses to conversions and building mill factories. So for now, we're going to stack infrastructure in Brandenburg. Oh, hotkey by the way. You press shift, it'll build maximum. So if you press shift on a 7, it gives you 3. Press it on a 6, it goes to 4. It gives you the maximum of that building. If you press control, it makes it to the top of the queue. If you press control shift, it makes top of the queue and maximum slots. So you see this? I'm pressing control shift on Rhineland. It adds 2 infrastructure. And it pushes it to the top of the queue. I'll do the same here. And for the resources, I like the steel a lot. There are more like specific ways to build things, but again, I'm not tryharding too much, so I don't really mind. Unassigned divisions. Alright, so you can click on these and it shows you unassigned divisions. They're not in an army. If you press shift, it selects all of them. So you can just fast do this. Now, I want to select all my infantry. Well, how do I do that? You double click on the infantry division that you want to select, and all divisions that have the same division template are selected. Well, what's a division template? Division templates are stuff you have here. They are basically what defines the unit. Like, so, in this infantry template, we have 9 infantry battalions, support RD, and support engineer, and the engineer company. I call these shovels because, well, they're shovels. At the end of the day, you want to make some good divisions. So for now, we won't go too deep into this. We'll talk about it more later. But for now, just remember that it's there. So what's remaining? We have Alpenjäger, which is our mountaineers. We have our MOT, our motorized. We have our cavalry division, and we have our light tanks. So there we go. You'll notice that we are at a surplus of tungsten. Stop that, and we're -2 rubber. What does that do? It means that we're going to be producing mechanized at a slower rate than normal. You can see there's a penalty. And you can see there's a penalty here, and it'll give you an explanation. -7% efficiency because of lack of resources. It's not worth inputting a civ just for this motorized. If I had more guys on planes, then I would consider it, but it's expensive. So I generally shy away from that. I'm gonna dump everything I have into infantry equipment because I want to do some memes with infantry. Although, I will note that it's very unnecessary as Germany because you're gonna be conquering, you're gonna be Anschlussing, you're gonna be doing Fate of Czechoslovakia, you're gonna be invading Poland, and for all of these, you don't really need the equipment. And you will also be killing Netherlands and the Benelux. And the Benelux gives you like 20k more guns. So altogether, this gives like 40 to 70k guns depending on the AI difficulty. Which means that at the end of the day, you don't really need the equipment. You can build your own afterwards. You just focus on tanks. We'll get to that later as well. Alright, let's cover some more hotkeys. If you press F1 on your keyboard, you will enter the infantry or the land mode. That's what we're on right now. If we press F2 on the keyboard, we enter the naval mode. Here you can see all our ships. Wow, our ships. If I'm holding shift right now, if you just select things like this in the naval map mode, you don't need to hold shift. But if you want to select more units, you hold shift and you add it to the group. Well, to the selection. So now we have all that selected. Alternatively, you can do this. I'm holding shift, and now we have this. I'm going to combine them all into one group. I'm going to merge them all. I'm pretty lazy with Navy, like I said before, so we're not going to worry about it too much. Now, F3. This is the most important map mode in the game. Not quite. Land map mode is more important, but this is very important. This is the air map mode. What's the air map mode? Well, it lets you look at the air. Well, yeah. If you click on provinces, you can see some stats about the air zone. It lets you see the airports a lot easier. You can move your planes around. You can create new air wings. And yeah, it's pretty massive. It's pretty great. For now, we're not going to worry about it too much. Let's also pick a national focus. National focus is direct your country. Generally speaking, you want to be rushing in research slots whenever you can. But in this situation, Rhineland first is the standard opening for Germany, and is what I recommend. And if you go anything else, you're trolling. It's just how it is. Rhineland first is the best. There's no other option, really, realistically speaking. So we're going to set the speed up to 5 speed, and then I'll start going over generals. What the fuck are generals? You're asking right now. Well, that's a good question. Here are generals. You get to select your army. You get to assign a general right here in the top left corner. Now this is a field marshal. How do you know it's a field marshal? Because you have this cool symbol that says that you have 2 armies inside this group. So field marshals are another class of generals. See here, we can promote them up, but we need command points to promote these generals into field marshals. Anyhow, there's a limit to the number of armies you can have in a group. It's generally 5, sometimes you can have 6 if you have specific traits. Let's assign von Kluge into, I apologize for the pronunciation by the way, in charge of this army group. What? What's this trait thing, you say? That's a good question. You can spend command points, command power, to assign traits to your generals. Now these gives the generals bonuses. Yeah. We'll go over that a bit later. We have time. Why not go over it now? So this gives reinforcement rate. Reinforcement rate lets units move into a battle. Units inside a province don't automatically fight if they're defending, for example. If Unit A is attacking Province B, and Province B has a bunch of defenders, depending on the combat width, not all of those defenders will be fighting in the battle. Once one of those units in Province B dies, or retreats, or is no longer able to fight, then the reserve units can start rolling to enter the battle. And if none of the reserve units end up rolling into the battle, then they retreat. They never fought, but they still retreat. That's called getting reinforced memed, and that's why reinforcement rate is a very good modifier, especially in multiplayer. Dividend recovery rate, it lets you recover morale faster, or organization, as it's called in this game. The combat system is, like, really complicated and really convoluted. The way the formulas work and all that is really not something that you should be getting into right now. It's too complicated and just isn't worth your time. So we'll ignore it for now. So yeah, we finished our national focus. Perfect timing, by the way. Holy cow. You can press details to jump to the national focus tree. Alright, what do we want to do next? I recommend doing army innovations. Why army innovations? Well, it gets you to treaty with the USSR faster. Treaty USSR gets you good stuff. So we have this, it's called political power. I can modify my government and I can pick more advisors. Cool. This is your political power, by the way. So what do I want to do with this? Well, I'm playing as Germany. I have two realistic options. I can either go for the free trade, or I can go for war eco. How do I get the war eco? You get Goebbels. What is Goebbels? There's Goebbels. Gives you war support and lets you go to war eco. But I'm gonna open with free trade for the research speed and the other bonuses it gives. It's very good. Just me. Anyhow, let's check in our construction. We're still working on infrastructure. Good. Remilitarization of the Rhineland. The Allies will never contest that, where I'm playing on historical focuses. So let's grab all our air wings and let's merge them all onto Berlin. You can press G to merge air wings. Alright, and you can also press this button, disband air wings. I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to produce some new air wings. Here we can see we have interwar fighters. Hover this and we can see the hotkeys used. I'm going to produce a 200 stack, and I press D to split, and we split into two 100s now. You can see interwar bombers here. We can see tactical bombers. Tactical bombers are just better than interwar bombers, so move them all over. We'll move all our close air support over. We'll go over what each of these planes do a little bit more later. So we also have electronic mechanical engineering finished. That's major. Now we can go to the next research one. So I got 5 Army XP. What can we do for Army XP? We can modify division templates, among other things. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to produce this. I'm going to produce with 1 infantry, and I'm going to name it Shitter. We're going to put it to Elite, so it gets resources faster. Well, first, and we're going to save it. So now we're going to modify the icon. All right. We're going to put it as a pawn. I just left click that to edit. Here we have where the equipment goes. So reinforcements, low prio. Upgrades, low prio. Operations, low prio. Garrisons, low prio. And we're going to train up shitters. A lot of them. That's a lot of shitters. We'll put them onto max equipment prio. We're going to set them to deploy right here. And we're just going to let the game run. Why are we doing this? Well, we're doing this to increase our volunteer limit. It's cheesy. Very cheesy. I don't care though. It's going to sit here, and whenever we can deploy, we'll deploy them. You'll notice that we're down on resources. Again, I don't really care. It's fine. I'll up the reinforcement rate on this because reinforcement rate's a very important modifier. Now, I should be prepping to grind in Spain. What's grinding in Spain, you ask? Well, grinding in Spain is grinding generals. What's grinding generals? You level up your generals. So generally, you want to pick a lower level general that doesn't have that many traits so you can grind them up faster. At the same time, grinding generals is a completely different topic. And frankly, I don't have the energy to sit here and grind a general. I'm a lazy fuck. That's what I'm saying. Alright? So what are we gonna do? Instead, we're just gonna grab Manstein or Guderian. You take your pick. Oh, the Civil War just started. I'll grab Guderian. Wait, how many volunteers can I send? Fun trick. You can do this, and then you can create a duplicate of infantry. Duplicate. And I'm gonna name these guys Big Shitter. Why do I name them Big Shitter? Well, because I'm gonna cheese the game with it. You see all these new units I deployed? 91 of them? We're gonna set them into the reserve army. That changes the color of the division icon, by the way. Change division template into Big Shitter. And just like that, we can put in more volunteers than we normally could. See? 7 now. So I'm gonna grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 divisions. I'll bring them here. I'll unassign this general, so we can use them in Spain. I'll unassign Heinz Guderian, so we can use them in Spain. And we'll send volunteers, send these 7 boys, and we'll make sure to send air volunteers too. Why am I sending air volunteers? Well, I want to get air XP. So how many boys can I send over? 183. Well, I can send these guys over, that's for sure. Why am I sending CAS instead of fighters? I'm sending CAS because CAS generates the most air XP. You can also send fighters if you're like in a multiplayer game and your planes are actually going to get shut down. But you're not going to get shot down here. It's not happening. So here you can look up here and you can see my air XP is going up. Here, I'm going to go dispersed industry. There's a lot of pros and a lot of cons to going dispersed, and same thing with concentrated. The thing with concentrated is that it spikes hard and it spikes fast. So if you're rushing a certain tech, concentrated is great. If you're in multiplayer, concentrated is probably great, because you're rushing tank 3s, or you're rushing fighter 2s. One. Possibly could be going for either one of them, maybe just one, maybe both. I don't know, I don't care. I'm playing single player, and I want to go dispersed, because it feels good, and I don't care if it's factually incorrect. I'm going to drop mechanical computing for my improved machine tools, because I think it's more important than the research speed. Chill out for a little bit, and watch this go up. Alright, we'll notice we'll have more political power to spend. More PP. I'll grab Goebbels so I can jump to War Eco next. You notice that we're starting to work on this? No. We're not doing that just yet. We still don't have Goebbels up. So for now, get some more aluminum. Aluminium. Oh, alright, they arrived. Let's grab the boys. And let me show you a cool trick you can do with armies. It's called an empty front line. Grab your army, right? And you send them to a garrison order. This is a garrison order, by the way, in a different country that you're not currently fighting and you don't currently have military access through. For example, Bolivia. Perfect. Enter. And now that order is set. So now you grab your bigger army, this guy, your army group. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Now you grab your army group and you assign a front line. I'm using Z to assign front line. You can look at the shortcuts after hovering over stuff. This is X, by the way, for offensive line. And you can draw an offensive line. But you realize no divisions are assigned to this. However, these divisions will still get their planning bonus. What's planning bonus? Planning bonus is a bonus that you get from planning and letting your divisions get time to plan. It's a very big bonus, so you should always try to stack it. An empty front line lets you stack planning bonus without the AI randomly moving your troops around, so it's great for microing. Alright, we're gonna be sending in Guderian. I want Guderian to get engineer. How do we stack engineer? We get him to go over river tiles. So we look around for a river that we want to grind on. Oh, right here. That's a nice river line. We'll push him back across, and then we'll grind along this river. In multiplayer, you'll have a much better time grinding. Single player grinding is a little awkward. Not gonna lie. Still gaining XP, so that's good. And none of our planes have been shot down just yet. We can assign more ground crews in order to gain more efficiency. Air efficiency. So basically your planes work better. No reason not to. So we're sending the boys here. We're gonna drop 2, and we're gonna shift click. So we add a move command to order. We're gonna drop 2, and we're gonna send them here. We're gonna drop 1, and we're gonna send them here. What does this do? Watch. They split off on their own. You grab these boys here, you will notice that this is their planning bonus, and they're gaining Planus bonus each day. That's because we drew an empty front line. If there was no empty front line, they would not gain planning bonus. We're gonna send the boys over here. Oh, Army of Innovations is complete, and now we do treaty with the USSR. So I fucked up my research a little bit, but it's gonna be fine. We're gonna send Iberia, enable more ground crews, and now we're ready to rock and roll. If you're interested in seeing how a battle is going, you can click on this and you can look at the details. This guide is for beginners. I'm not going to go into depth about the combat system in OI4. It's really convoluted, like I said before. There's tons of great videos out there. I personally would recommend the ones from Riemann's Paradox. He's great. I have nothing bad to say about him. And honestly, I think this is a great place to end the video, right before we get into the meat and potatoes of grinding in Spain. So, if you've liked what you've seen so far, sub to the channel. There's going to be more great videos from this series and from other series coming up soon. Not only that, I'll do other assorted gameplay videos. I play EU4 as well. I have a great time with it. I'll probably post more videos about that as well. Catch my stream. The stream will be linked down below in the description. Follow me on Twitter if you want, and that one's completely optional. I also have a Discord that I will be linking in the description. So, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you all had a wonderful time watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!